3 Count Thursday is sponsored by Arena Eats. Log on to the website arenaeats.app, that's arenaeats.app, for the ultimate fan experience. At your favorite sports venue, Arena Eats mobile app, pre-order, express pickup, and in-seat delivery. How do you place your order? We have one of two times. I don't think we have time to get to both of them.
Early Shawn Michaels was better. We can make this real easy.
Late Shawn Michaels was absolutely better than early Shawn Michaels.
All right, well, fuck, here we go.
Right, because I watched the documentary, and
what documentary?
The one on A&E. They've been doing them weekly for the last 7 weeks. This past week was Shawn Michaels. This coming week is the Ultimate Warrior, and early Shawn, late Shawn, absolutely late Shawn.
Yeah.
Not only to come back from the injury he came back from at the age he was at, not doing it for how many years, and to have
Jesus Christ on your side.
There's that. But also, his the matches that he had more all-time classics post-injury than he did before. Absolutely.
His career was significantly longer post-injury. He came back from 2002. He had 20 extra years.
I mean, his rocker matches weren't so bad.
16 years.
When do you think he retired?
2002.
No.
Oh, no, that's when he came back.
Yes.
He retired after Super Sandow.
Doesn't count.
It does too. No. It absolutely does.
No.
The real question should be, how great would Shawn Michaels have been if he never injured his back? And we don't have a will he return or not, because he lost 4 years in his prime from 98 to 2002.
Well,
I don't know if we get late career Shawn Michaels because of the path he was going down.
Right.
Yeah, I think he needed the
I think the injuries not only saved his saved his career, saved his life.
Okay.
Because that dude, he was hurting big time, not just the back injury, but the drugs.
The Sunny thing? The Sunny thing? Is that what you're alluding to?
The sunny days.
No, I'm talking about the drugs.
Oh, the drugs.
Somas, the coke, the fucking booze, all of it, all of the above.
Okay, that sounds like a great time.
Sure.
I can't help to think his career may have been cut shorter if he wrestled in one of those matches with the two cages in the double ring.
It may have.
That was the WCW thing.
Stop.
Man, I know they did one up at Harrisburg. It wasn't. Harrisburg's not just for Gallagher shows.
It's not.
No, heck no. I mean, that's a perk.
But it.
That's what Shawn took.
Yeah, he took those too. If they were manufactured, he took them. But yeah, I think late Shawn Michaels is better. Mark.
With codeine.
He probably took those. Mark, do you think late Shawn Michaels is better or pre-injury Shawn Michaels?
Oh yeah. No, late Shawn Michaels was fantastic. I don't know that anybody saw that coming. But I think he still would have had a great legacy even if he didn't come back. But I don't know that people would consider him one of the greatest or the greatest if he didn't. So
yeah,
late Shawn Michaels.
Yeah, I don't think he makes it to WrestleMania 26 without the injury.
26, isn't that the one? Oh, never mind.
It's where Brett came back. Yeah, that's the one. Yeah. Not a good WrestleMania.
Big toaster.
Big toaster. All right. So the other topic du jour, last week's Dark Side of the Ring, was on Nick effing Gage. I know we've talked about death matches before, so this isn't going to be a, are you a fan of death match wrestling? Are you not? I think we've covered that from time to time, and I'm sure we'll hit it here. But the thing that blew me away watching the documentary, and I've seen, we've been to shows that he's been on, and I think for me the only one of the only ones I was at was down at either H2O or Hybrid, one of the ones down in Jersey, is the crazy level of over that guy is with his fan base. And like, I knew he had. I vaguely knew this story, learned the details, watched the documentary last week, and it was like, holy hell! I mean, like, fucking crazy. Not just what he did to end up in prison, but like the whole story. And like, it just blew me away. Like the hero worship with him. It was like, I mean. I respect the guy in some ways. I don't respect him in other ways. And it just that, I mean, I thought it was it's probably one of my favorite Dark Side episodes because it just it fucking blew me away.
Yeah, here's a guy, and I think we can loop back to our conversation on kayfabe. Here's a guy that doesn't need kayfabe at all. Because I feel like what you see is what you get. It's Nick fucking Gage, yeah. MDK all day. Like there's no kayfabing what you get. I think you really have to look at it in perspective of the respect that he gets. Here's a guy that was the first CZW, I think World Heavyweight Champion. He made his debut in wrestling in 1999. He's still wrestling death matches today, 22 years later. That, I think, in and of itself is something that wrestling fan of deathmatch or not, you have to respect. 22 years in that style of pro wrestling is unreal.
Sure.
I get he was gone for 5 years. We can then draw the same Shawn Michaels conclusions.
Sure.
If he went for those 5 years just as hard, would he be able to do it today? I think you can look at Nick Gage and look at the success that CZW had a few years ago and credit Nick Gage. When he got out of prison and came back, that put CZW back on the map. You can look at Nick Gage and really credit him. And obviously Brett has great ideas for GCW, but what Nick Gage has done for GCW and that independent wrestling promotion, unreal. Just unreal. Revolutionized the deathmatch industry, the deathmatch scene, and you have a company that is outside of the major televised companies, the largest indie company in the United States in GCW, and you have to credit Nick Gage for some of that.
Between Nick Gage and Joey Janela,
right?
And sure, Janela's another one. Yep. But I think Brett has got an incredible mind for the business. Came up and I think saw the mistakes that were being made in CZW and said, I'm not going to make those mistakes with GCW.
It's almost the same. I think you can do GCW is to EC or CZW as like ROH was to ECW.
Yep.
Because Gabe Sapolsky was like a underling for Paul Heyman.
Yep.
And learned everything he knew from Paul. So that when he was in charge at Ring of Honor, it was like he had the same principles as Paul, like accentuate the positives, hide the negatives. And instead of hardcore wrestling, it was pure wrestling and things like that. So very much the same. I got nothing but respect for Nick Gage, man. Nick, the phrase American Dream is getting thrown around a lot recently in wrestling, especially with Cody Rhodes announcing that he's going to be take the mantle of the American Dream come double or nothing against Anthony Ogogo. But Nick Gage is that like American Dream type story of second, third, fourth chances. I mean, man was at rock bottom, did a horribly stupid thing in which John Moxley had the line of the entire documentary.
Yeah, he did.
It was like, so Nick Gage's thing is that he wears a mask. He wears a bandana to the ring. And then he goes and robs a bank and he ain't got nothing on his face.
Yeah.
Like,
right.
So Gage does his time for that. He breaks parole. He goes back for a little more. But like the fan base is there with him. It's like, it's hero worship is like one thing, but it's like Nick Gage could be any of us, I guess, to a certain degree. Like Nick Gage has a lot of everyman type qualities about him.
Sure.
Like he's a dude who fights, and like you can't tell me he doesn't love his fans. Like
yeah.
That guy loves every single person that rides with him. Like, do you know who he's almost analogous to? And like, he's not necessarily in a great vein right now, but like another person who is very much like Nick Gage in the way he's like loyal to his fans is Teddy Hart.
Yeah.
Teddy Hart's like, boo me, I don't care. If you cheer for me, I will die for you. Exact quote from Teddy Hart.
Yeah.
If you cheer for me, I will die for you.
Sure.
And like that was him. And like I can't stand like Teddy Hart the person.
No.
But when I tell you I saw him wrestle in Philly for that hardcore homecoming, or what's House of Hardcore and TNA show with the Muda.
Oh yeah.
And it was a triple threat with Teddy Hart, Willie Mack, and somebody. Can't recall who the third man was. And Teddy Hart was fantastic.
The only time I've seen Teddy Hart wrestle was actually at ACW. Matt and I had made a trip down to New Jersey to see him at a hybrid show, and it was one of the points where he couldn't leave the state he was in or something. The actual, like a one of the United States, not like a inebriated state, but he was probably that too. But when he's on,
that's an awful joke.
When he's on,
we would never make jokes like that on this show. Come on, Jim.
When he was actually on a show and he was locked in, the guy's a piece of shit. Like, but when he in the ring, the
he
guy
was probably the most talented Hart from that group. I mean, the talent and some of the shit he could do in the ring. I mean, Owen probably was the closest.
Well, I mean, of the next generation of Harts, because sure. Brett, Bulldog, Owen, all the brothers, and then the next generation of Harts, because the next generation took the lessons, like wrestling lessons of the Hart family, and then also applied them to what wrestling was becoming.
Right, definitely modernized.
And he's
style.
Because that's Teddy, TJ, Natalia, Davey Boy Jr.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, that's fair.
Like the only one that I would say would even probably come close to him would be TJ.
Yeah.
Yeah.
TJ's great.
And TJ, infinitely better person than Teddy. So
right.
3 Count Thursday is sponsored by Arena Eats. Log on to the website arenaeats.app, that's arenaeats.app, for the ultimate fan experience. At your favorite sports venue, Arena Eats mobile app, pre-order, express pickup, and in-seat delivery. How do you place your order?
But to get back to Nick Gage, MDK is it wouldn't have such a hold if there wasn't some sort of truth in that,
it's real.
That's I think why he calls it a gang.
Yeah.
MDK is a gang. What's your gang about? Oh, they're my fans.
I remember
but it's my gang. It's a gang. It's a gang of people. I'm pretty sure that the MDK gang would actually kill some people.
Probably. Sure.
Probably.
There's a line from Jake the Snake Roberts in Beyond the Mat, where he's like, I could be elected mayor here tomorrow. I don't care anywhere in the New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Delaware, Maryland, any of those places, particularly the Philly area. Nick Gage could probably he probably could. He could probably get elected into office if he was allowed to run for office.
I don't think he can run.
I don't think he can, but like if he could, he did, he would win.
Right.
And it is that sort of a thing, and it because it's it's real. Mark, did you watch The Dark Side?
Sure did. Boy, that was a tough one to watch. I'll tell you, just the blood and the guts, and what a story. If you guys out there listening haven't seen it and aren't familiar, it's well worth watching. It's really good, really good. Yeah, nothing but respect for him, that's for sure. But man, that the thing that really I couldn't believe that he's there bleeding out, he's dying in a cornfield.
Yeah, Tournament of Death.
At Tournament of Death, he's literally dying, and he wants to get back in the ring. And if he would have tried to go back in there, he would have died because he flatlined in the helicopter, the medvac.
Yeah,
like
it's just crazy. I
mean,
wrap my head around
when he
it.
says at the end of the episode that like he's not gonna like he basically like I'm gonna die young. Like, I mean, when you hear somebody say that, like you go, well, are you? He might.
Well, yeah, but
like he might die in the ring.
It's almost like when Nick said that, like, I'm probably gonna die young, and then they're like, are you okay? Are you good with that? And he goes, yeah, I'm good with that. It reminded me eerily of another documentary that's gone around with Roddy Piper. And Piper's interview where he's like, I'm going to collect I can collect pension at 65, but I'm not going to make it to 65 to get it.
Yeah.
And it's very similar to that. Like it's I don't want to say it's self-fulfilling prophecy. I think it's a person knows their body, and they know that, like, I've put miles on this thing.
Yeah.
That is beyond the make and model. Like, this is
drove it like a rental car.
This might be it might be a model from the 1980s, but I've put miles on it like I've driven it since the 1890s. Right. There's way too many miles on this thing.
There's Freddie Mercury in an interview one time, and I think this was even before he was sick. And he had said something along the lines of he doesn't want to live to be, or he didn't want to or wasn't going to live to be like in his 70s. And I think, at that point he was probably aware that his lifestyle was had a degree of danger to it. But it's that same sort of feeling, is there are some people that they know that based on how they live their life, they're getting the most out of the time. They're not going to be they're not going to live in a nursing home. They're not going to spend their final years struggling to walk down the hall. They're going to.
Yeah, I've got the quote.
Yeah, go ahead.
I don't want to go down in history as one of those people who worried, hoping they realize after I'm dead I created something or invented something. Life is for living. I don't give a damn about all of that. In the meantime, I've had fun, and I want to go on having fun doing this. I don't want to sound morbid. 70 is a long way away. As far as I'm concerned, I've lived a full life, and if I'm dead tomorrow, I don't give a damn. I lived. I really have done it all.
Does it say year?
I certainly don't have any aspirations to live to 70. It would be so boring. I will be dead and gone long before that.
Does it say what year that was from?
I'm looking.
I want to say, I mean, he had the shorter hair and the mustache. I can't remember exactly what era that was in.
It's a quote from his book, A Life in His Own Words. There's no citation.
Hot Space, I believe, was the album. The first album when he had cut his hair and had the mustache, and that came out in 82. So I think it was even around that era. I don't think it was later. And me, I don't know the exact timetable on things. So I don't know if he was already aware of any health issues by that point. But
Right.
yeah, it's some people know. Some people know based on how they live life. You just kind of know. But yeah, it was one of the better Dark Side episodes. I'm certainly looking forward to the rest of this season. I think that they've really kind of found their niche, and they continue to get better each episode, each season. So I am looking forward to that. Any other thoughts on Nick Gage and the documentary before we move on?
One of the few, if not the only one, centered on somebody that's still alive.
Yeah. I think, yeah.
Ones
that are on a specific person, because like
strictly on that. Like,
tonight's is the collision in Korea.
Correct.
So there's people alive who were.
Right. Season 1 was Moolah, Gino, the Von Erichs, Bruiser Brody, Savage Elizabeth.
So you had
New
one of
Jack.
And the screw job. New Jack was still alive.
Okay, right.
New Jack was still alive
At the time. What was season 2? Benoit, Dino Bravo had one.
Owen Hart.
The Road Warriors. Yeah, season 2 was Benoit, New Jack, Brawl for All, Jimmy Snuka, Dino Bravo, Dave Schultz, the UWF with Herb Abrams, the Road Warriors, and Owen Hart.
So here's a guy whose story, I mean, by all accounts, could have been dead, could have died in that helicopter ride. Who the hell knows what happens behind bars, but able to still tell his story and still do what he does after all of that. So I think that's why it was such a compelling story, that even if you're not a deathmatch guy or a deathmatch fan, you should probably check this episode out.
Yeah, no doubt. Three Count Thursday is sponsored by Arena Eats. Log on to the website arenaeats.app, that's arenaeats.app, for the ultimate fan experience. At your favorite sports venue, Arena Eats mobile app, pre-order, express pickup, and in-seat delivery. How do you place your order?